Hey everybody, Brian Klein here. So I was just filling my water tanks on my boat, and very normal, have to do that like every month or so. And um, usually I just put the hose in the fill hole, the fill hole on deck, and then I just let the water tanks fill. And usually when the water tanks get to the top level, it'll start sort of overflowing into the sink. And that's my cue to like just go out and turn off the hose and put the cap back on the deck plate. But today I noticed as I was sitting inside that the I could hear water trickling down into the bilge. And is my nose running? And that's not a normal sound. I don't normally hear water running underneath me. Sometimes out on deck when it overflows out of the deck plate. But so I haven't opened up the water tank compartment yet to see what exactly is going on there, but I suspect I have a leak from one of my two water bladders that are in there. So I just thought I would share with you what this is like, just because it's just a normal boat owner thing. I had my whole day planned and everything was nice and smooth, but now suddenly there's some sort of maintenance issue that needs to be addressed. So come along, let's have a look in here. Okay, so I've got my water tanks are underneath the V-berth, and I've got the little hatch here removed. Now this is the underside of the hatch, and first thing I noticed is that there was some water on this surface here, which is actually the slide out table. Hey, Pocket. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then on the bottom side of the hatch, which covers the table, is some water as well. So that tells me that there's probably some pressure. There was water like shooting out of one of the tanks or something. So now the next step, I'm going to switch to landscape mode for you here. And that reveals what's going on. Aha! And immediately, look at what we have here. Let me see if I can get some light on. All right, well, it's about as obvious as it gets, isn't it? So I've got a little pinhole leak here. Look, just coming out of this. This is one of the two fill hoses. So you have a diverter valve here. This is the main fill. This goes up to the deck. It goes to a diverter valve, and then I have one hose going into one bladder and one hose going into the second bladder. So there's two separate bladders here. Sorry for the poor lighting, but there's just a big black bladder right here underneath this hole. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see. There's just a crack. There's just a little crack right there in that line. So no big deal. That's totally fine. I think what's probably going to end up happening is that this whole bladder is going to empty, well, not the whole thing, and just until the pressure goes down enough that it stops leaking out of here. But I'm going to end up with several gallons of fresh water in my bilge, and that's okay. As problems go, that's not a big deal at all. So, yeah, let's see. Is there any way to change this situation in the near term? I could open up the drain on the bladder and let it out faster, but I think I'm just going to let it kind of like drain out like this. What I will do is change the valve so that I think that's right, so that I'm only drawing from the port tank, and so that I don't end up like adding pressure see the port tank's already full. Oh, and look, if I push on the port tank, I get changes in pressure, yeah, from the starboard side. So it's still connected, unfortunately, so let's fix that. I'm not sure if that pressure is coming out of the intake or the output. So now let's try again. Yeah, it's still doing it. So it's not happening there. Very sorry, I don't have... Let me see if I can grab some light here. Okay, that's better. So this valve that you see here is the selector valve on which tank to draw from. This top hose, I'm sorry, the hose that's at the bottom of your screen there, that goes to the sink. And then What's going on with this light? And then the two hoses that are going down into the bilge there towards the top of your screen, those go to each individual bladder, so I can select which bladder I want to pull water from to use, to consume. And then that valve is which bladder to fill. So what I want to do is have, basically I want to isolate the starboard tank completely. And so let's change this valve so that, I think that's right. So we're only looking, it should only draw from the port tank. So you can see I'm still getting pressure fluctuations when I push on the port tank. So I need to do something else here. You know what? I wonder, you know what? Yeah, okay, that's like an erroneous thing. The pressure is changing, but I think it's because I'm pushing on the port tank and it's actually pushing on the starboard tank down here. So I think I've got it okay. I've got that isolated there, got it isolated here, and yeah, I could like open this drain here and let it drain faster, but I'm in no hurry. I've got a few things to do before I can suck the water out of the bilge, so whatever. This would be a problem. I'm being kind of nonchalant about it because it's not a big deal. It doesn't present a risk to the boat. But the only way this would present a risk to the boat, if there was, like, let's say you had a bunch of oil in your bilge, and if you're going to flush a bunch of water into it and then you had to pump that water out, if you're going to like use your bilge pump or use a vacuum or something to pump that water out, then yeah, that would be a problem. You'd want to stop the water from going into the bilge pretty quickly so that you had less contaminated oily water to deal with on the other side. But I don't, my bilge is quite clean and dry, so it's just getting a nice little rinse in fresh water, and that's always fine. All right, that's it. Let me switch back. Okay, so that's it. I hope that was mildly educational. Thought it was kind of cool. I just had something crop up, and maybe I'll do more of these when the boat presents something to talk about like that. Hope everybody's doing well. It's Christmas Eve when I'm recording this, so Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope everybody's having a safe, happy holiday, and be well.